Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Apologize for you having to see my hand a little bit up close and personal. But anyways, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Forrest Wolper here. Welcome back to another serious talk. And today we're going to be talking about something that may be deemed a little bit controversial, but honestly, I feel like it should be talked about, and I'm very curious to see how this goes. Now, because of how serious this topic is, I just ask that all that are involved in commenting on this video, whether it's in the live chat as it happens or when the VOD comes up in the video in the chat, in the comments section. All I ask is that people are respectful toward one another, and any kind of disrespect, regardless of which side of the coin you're on, if I feel like it is unwarranted, then I will thereby take that comment down. Because with how serious of a topic I'm about to discuss is, no kind of disrespect will be allowed on my chat room. Whether it's on the live chat or in the comments. None. With that being said, today I have actually been met with a lot of videos revolving around the LGBTQ plus community in recent times. The first thing that I seen today, actually, because it is of course what I remember seeing, the very first thing that I seen today was a video by Jon Stewart. This was a short video on his YouTube channel of The Problem with Jon Stewart. I want you guys to listen to this, and then we'll discuss what I'm about to talk about. Just listen to this.
You want to ban?
Wait. Oh yeah, it's actually this one. I had to look just to make sure it was, but yeah, it's this. Just listen.
You want to ban drag show readings to children?
To minors, yes.
Why?
Why?
What are you protecting?
Why can we prohibit children from voting, those under 18 from voting?
Is that free speech?
They can continue to exercise their free speech, just not in front of a child.
Why?
Because the government does have a responsibility to protect.
I'm sorry?
The government does have a responsibility in certain instances.
What's the leading cause of death amongst children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is. It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to
Hey, Trader Mystic, how you doing today?
protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck to stop that because that shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
I'm doing good tonight, not today. Oh, well. Well, at least you're doing good at the moment, but I do hope tomorrow is a better day for you. But with that being said, with that video, in the comments section of that video, I kept seeing so many comments toward, let's see, no, you said tonight. Oh, okay. Okay. You said today. Boy, you... It's the night. Okay. Jeez. Picking apart what I'm saying. Alright, okay. I'm saying that jokingly, by the way. First time I had somebody pick apart what I've said before. Wow, Forrest, how unbelievable. Yeah, but alright. So, the first order of business, I'm just busting your butt. Yeah, I know you are. But anyway, So, the first order of business that I wanted to talk about was our drag shows. Alright? Now, I don't know if I talked about this before, but here's my stance on drag shows. I believe there are more than just one particular kind of drag show, because the pure definition of a drag show is basically a show where people will dress up as the opposite gender, regardless of the type of show they're putting on. But so many people have talked about just banning drag shows in front of children. And the first thing in my head that pops up every time I do is like, these people have only heard of RuPaul's Drag Race, haven't they? Now, if you have never seen RuPaul's Drag Race, let me just say for the record that it is, in its own way, kind of sexually explicit. As in, where it's not showing something like nudity or whatever. It's more like where the dancers are dancing, like where the contestants are doing like these dance routines that could be seen as sexual in nature. And I'm thinking like, dude, do these people understand that there are more than just drag shows that are involving sexually explicit dance moves? You got comedy drag shows, particularly. I mean, heck, you probably have like Monty Python. There's like, I can already tell you want to talk about a good drag show example. There's a scene in Monty Python where it's like, basically for me, anything involving drag involves something, a scene of where a woman or a sorry about that, but to me, anything like something like White Chicks, it's basically involving two black dudes dressing up as two white women. To me, that could be seen as a drag movie, because you have two guys dressing up very much so, as two white women. Kind of a weird thing now that I think about it, but still. That in itself to me is kind of drag. Then you have that one segment in like one of the Monty Python movies where some guy is found guilty, and so the guy is being sent to death, was sentenced to death by stoning, and this other guy who is supposed to try to he's trying to not only maintain order but to try to take control of what's going on, and he's like he's gonna give the word or signal for them to start throwing stones at this guy, and he's trying to say his stuff, and these women dressed up as men just start throwing a stone at this one guy, at one stone every so often, and this other dude's like, "Who threw that stone? Do not throw the stone until I command you to throw the stone." And this would be a recurring theme up until eventually the guy who's trying to do his job ends up getting stoned himself by these fucking women dressed up as men. That is a funny moment, by the way. I highly recommend watching that scene. It's really hilarious. But there are two particular examples of how drag shows do not have to be sexually explicit in nature. Now, with that being said, every time I hear people talk about drag shows, I always think of RuPaul's Drag Race and how they try to be like, "Well, we don't want drag shows." It's like, dude, you watched too much of RuPaul's Drag Race, haven't you? But then I say something that probably shut them up, actually. Because there was one guy who was talking about this. Where he was talking about drag shows, how it should not be toward children. I said, basically what I said here, minus the whole thing with the Monty Python and the White Chicks bit. But I did say everything else, but I added in, if you want something to worry about alongside drag shows, I highly suggest you state why you don't like child beauty pageants. Because to me, child beauty pageants is in itself playing dress up. That's what drag shows are. It's literally playing dress up and putting on a show, regardless of what type of show it is. Child beauty pageants are children playing dress up, but they're being dressed up and shown in such a way that it's very messed up to me. Like, if you're not okay with people doing drag shows, you should not be okay as well with children doing child beauty pageants. They may be two separate age groups, but they have basically the same premise. They basically do. That one person I said that to has yet to respond to me. I think they understand how stupid their shit was when they said it too, actually. Now that I think about it. Because one thing that I feel like people don't realize is that, for starters, drag shows can be sexual in nature, but who in their right mind who is doing that kind of drag show would be dumb enough to actually think of doing it in front of children? Seriously. I mean, heck, you had these people who dress up who identify as a female, who dress up as, like a princess sort of thing, right? They usually do that, with the kids for story time. Yeah, people have a problem with it. Heck, there was actually one time, in my fucking state, and I was very pissed off when I seen this and I found that it was in my state. But there was a group of fucking Nazis, neo-Nazis, in my state capital, who decided to march right to where this drag show, there's something involving LGBT or drag, whatever, either one of the two things. All but one person was masked up. And this one person said it perfectly. This one guy had a microphone, basically said, and I'm going to use my remote as a microphone here. I would love to see all these group of people, these group of men over here take off their face masks and their sunglasses and their hoodies. But the reason why they don't want to do that is because they know they would get ousted. Or something to that effect. And I was like, damn fucking straight. Damn straight. Yes, they would. Because ain't no motherfucking state dumb enough to accept neo-Nazis if they were well known. Yeah, the neo-Nazi would still be able to live in the country, but he would be very much frowned upon by his or her community if they chose to be like that. Truthfully, I don't understand how anyone could be sympathetic toward the Nazis unless for some goddamn reason you had a very big, deep hatred for Jews, for whatever reason. In that case, either way, my point still stands. Why would you be dumb enough to even publicly state how much you support the Nazis when they're already a dead group anyway? That group died alongside Adolf Hitler. So, really, I'm thinking of this one character off of Star Trek The Next Generation. He wasn't anywhere near as bad as Adolf Hitler. But he was part of a powerful, in this case it was a powerful family, but Hitler was involved in a then powerful faction. But this character in Star Trek The Next Generation basically was able to get away with things scot-free because his family was so powerful that, if something were to happen to him or his family, civil war would have broken out in in that, amongst that race of people. Something that we kind of something that our country, the United States of America, dealt with, and so many other countries on this planet's history have dealt with as well. But in this case, Adolf Hitler was a powerful man, and given the hellacious things he did, what kept him going as the leader of Germany for as long as he was leader was honestly his charisma, his passionate speeches. Even if they were fucked up, they were very passionate. He was a very passionate man about what he did, and he had no regrets. It seemed like he had no regrets with what he was doing. But the people around him, around the country, like the borders that were not allied to Germany, all of them looked at this man and was like, "Man, you are one piece of shit." Even our country, who did our own kind of thing with the Japanese after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, when we took our Japanese American brothers and sisters and forced them into these sort of I don't even know what kind of camps they were. I don't know if they were liberation camps or whatnot, but they were some kind of camps that we did with them. It was bullshit, I really think it was complete bullshit what the Nazis did to the Germans. And as far as what we did with the Japanese Americans on our soil, that in itself was fucked up. But I know I'm getting kind of off topic, so let's get back onto this actual topic here. So, then, after that, I went on TikTok. And for the last number of days, I kept seeing this one video. And I kept seeing so many people who were, what's the word I'm looking for? Who, I think the word I'm looking for is like where they stitched it. Like where it was the original video and then it was somebody else talking about it. The original video in question was about this person who was a transgender person. It was a transgender man. Otherwise, why would they be saying shit, right? But the transgender man had a picture of a state bill, an anti-LGBT bill, an anti-trans bill, by the way, in the background as a picture behind his video camera. And and the transgender man basically said, "You see this bill? Just so you know, now I'll be going into this bathroom. I'll be going in the women's bathroom and whatnot." And all the people who stitched it were saying the same thing. "You go in that bathroom, man. I'ma beat your ass. I'll beat you so bad you won't even see it coming." So many people were saying that to this one person. And this one person that I just watched before I did this live stream, this serious talk, this one person said it best. It's funny how these people are anti-trans, but then when a transgender person basically points out an anti-trans bill, it says how a transgender man is now able to go into a female's bathroom because the law says that a transgender person has to go into the bathroom of the gender they were born as. And then when that transgender person does that, and then other people want to say, "You do this and I beat your ass," two things. Number one, you're a hypocrite. Because you're trying to tell these people you don't want them in a man's bathroom, but yet you don't want them in the bathroom that they were originally born in, but you said that's what you wanted. Now that it's a law and these people are saying, alright, well, I'm doing it this way, you guys all of a sudden hate it. These fucking hypocrites have been wanting to make it to where transgenders have to conform to their original gender. But then when something like a fucking anti-trans bathroom bill passes, and these trans men who were born female basically say, thanks to you guys, I'm now going to be using the female restroom because of this bill. And these fucking assholes want to take a whole 180 and say, you do that and I'll beat your ass. That's the fucking issue I have with them. Hell, honestly, a transgender person can make a workaround this, honestly. Like, who the fuck, I don't give a damn what your birth certificate says, what gender you're, I don't give a damn what your birth certificate says, what gender you are. If you're a transgender person, if you were a male who is now a female, or a female who is now a male, then you have the right to enter that particular bathroom, in my book. This is basically, in my book, we're basically entering a modern Jim Crow era, where instead of black people, it's anybody that's specifically trans, but also in any way part of the LGBTQ plus community. This is what I'm feeling like. Because people want to try to make bills that are anti-transgender, anti-LGBTQ plus. But yet the people there are letting you know, okay, this is what you want me to go through, or this is what's gonna happen. But then the people who were all of a sudden supporting that bill all of a sudden want to say, do that and I'm kicking your ass. To me, that just singled out not only all the transphobic people, but also it weeded out the hypocrites. But like I said though, I don't give a damn what was on the original birth certificate. If a person is male, like looks more male than female, then they should go into the male's bathroom. If a person, male or female, looks more like a female, they should go into the female's bathroom. What I mean, okay, I know I added a little tidbit there, but basically, if you look like a male, go into the male's bathroom. If you look more like a female, go into the female's bathroom. That's pretty much what I'm saying. I added a few extra words to that last bit, so I'm fixing what I'm saying before the people try to take the context out of what I'm saying. And even if they did try to do so, I would tell them maybe you should look at the full context before you come into my page and start talking a lot of smack. Because that's the problem with people nowadays. They want to look at a little bit of context or no context at all. And then when they're given the option to look at the full context, they all of a sudden don't want to do it. Another hypocritical thing. They don't understand the full context, but they don't want to know it because they think like they know it. That's stupid logic, and it needs to stop. But then, there was something that did catch my eye when I was talking to somebody earlier. somebody tried to point out the wrongdoing of what John said. Like that video I played earlier. Somebody tried to prove that John was incorrect. There was only one little problem with that. They only showed one. There was. I seen the website that they were using, so I looked at it. I just looked it up, and I basically used the same website. So this person tried to say children 10 through 14. Yeah, they don't go through. They don't. Yeah, that's not the case here. I looked at this. I looked it up myself, and it did show the 10 through 14, but it also said 1 through 4, 5 through 9. Guess what was one of the leading causes of death for children aged 1 to 9 years old? I'm going to repeat what John said. I'll give you a hint. It's not drag shows. It is actually homicide. Drag shows don't kill people, but guns definitely do. Regardless of the whole bullshit, regardless of the whole guns don't kill people, people don't, guns don't kill people kill people, blah, blah, blah. Guns are used to kill people either way. That's how they're used. I prefer they be used in self-defense than to incite fear, but that's the case. And I know, and so I said to the person after I stated those two groups, I was like, how ironic is it that you're going to bring up the one group that does not have it as the leading cause of death, but yet you're not going to ironically bring up the other two groups who just so happen to have it as one of the three leading causes. Yeah, that person hasn't said anything yet, and I'm pretty sure they won't be able to because I used their own source against them. They can't say anything to me about that. Just like how the person who I said about how it's like, dude, you've been watching some RuPaul Drag Race, haven't you? Yeah, let me tell you something, man. Drag shows are not always going to be explicit in nature, and even if they were, they're in the right. Do you honestly think most, if not all, drag show promoters, the people that, what do you call those people that set up certain shows? Like the drag show host, I guess you could say it. Or the drag show trope, I guess would be another term. Do you honestly think they're stupid enough to let kids see these sexually explicit drag shows? I don't think so. Then I talked about something else, but I can't quite remember what it was. But then I basically said, the very last thing that I do remember saying was, if you want to find something else to go, if you're going to complain about drag shows, I hope you feel the same way about child beauty pageants. Otherwise, shut your hypocritical mouth up. Apparently, he followed my advice because he didn't say anything to me after that. I have not received a single notification about it. I wouldn't even be surprised if somebody decided to report it as hateful comment. And it's like, there's nothing hateful about it. I always try to be constructive with my talking points, even if they are even if my talking point is a bit long-winded. I still want to do that, But then you got people like these guys that want to act like what I've talked about throughout the whole stream. And to me, I just want to facepalm. Because who are these people to think that this is an okay thing to be saying, let alone thinking about? It's kind of stupid how our country. That's another thing that I've noticed. The young generation are actually getting smarter and smarter, and they're being more with the times. Hint, because we're growing with them as the times are growing older. As the times are going more, as things are being more advanced nowadays. I mean, compared to some of the things that we have nowadays to when our parents were children. For an example, my parents were born in the 60s, 1960s. So you probably would know what time period they were involved in. I'll give you a hint. Think of Rosa Parks. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. Think of Malcolm X. That's all you didn't know to understand what time period they were born in. But anyway, with that, back then, they didn't have cell phones like what I'm using here to record my video. They didn't have cell phones. They had camcorders. Yeah, they had camera recorders, but they didn't have cell phones to record things on. They had telephones, specifically rotary phones, compared to these type of phones. They didn't have video game consoles up until the 1970s. We do. Back then, they didn't even have internet. They had technology, yeah, but they didn't have internet. They had like more basic technology. Our technology is so advanced. We got robots that can play freaking chess of all things. We like they used to have notepad tablets. We have machine tablets. They had radios that were going into television. Black and white going into color television. We have 4K/8K TVs. There have been, they had select channels. We got satellite/cable/streaming services. Do you understand where I'm coming with this? They even had different mentalities back then compared to how we have our own kind of mentality. Back then, being gay was frowned upon. Nowadays, not as much. Back then, interracial couples were frowned upon. Nowadays, not as much. Back then, teachers could whoop a student's ass. Nowadays, not as much. And some people, regardless of which side of the coin you're on, a number of people believe that butt whoopings themselves alone are a form of child abuse. Some people agree with it, others don't. Depends on who you're talking about. But again, my point is, we have older adults who are going to believe what they want to believe because of not only their past, but of how they were born and raised, and what they were taught, and how they were taught all that. No, that gay stuff doesn't fly in Florida, Forrest. That's because people are crazy. Personally, I'm all for the LGBTQ plus community because I've known people that are part of that community, and I've known friends personally that I grew up with that eventually became part of that community. But I know how the South works. The South don't give a damn about half the shit that I do. Unless you're in Georgia, in which case you may or may not. But that's a joke, guys. Calm down. Don't take it too seriously. But like I said though, it's involving different time periods and also different ways of people being educated. Like in my case, I prefer being educated. I prefer learning new things, but also having my knowledge expanded upon by something else. Basically, I'm following the rule of those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it, and those who do learn from history are doomed to put up with the people who don't learn from it and therefore repeat it. Yeah. So, yeah. That's how I see it. And if anybody has a problem with what I said in this video, like in the stream, whether it was in the live chat or in the comments section, if you guys have a problem with what I say, be respectful, people, in the comments, please. Because if I see any shred of people who aren't really being respectful, if I feel like there's somebody not being respectful, I mean, you can be brutally honest, of course, but if you're not being respectful, then I won't ban you unless you're saying some anti-trans, LGBT, the anti stuff that you should know, like anything that involves hate speech. Even if you're joking, I would still put you in timeout. And if you still want to play that game, I will bar you from my streams. I have no regrets doing it either. If you want me to treat you with respect, you gotta be respectful to the people that you're talking about and talking to. Because, like I've said before, I will not have disrespect in my comments. And if people don't like that, well, I'm sorry to say it, but it's gonna be the case. It's my channel, my rules. If you don't like it, well, you're more than welcome to leave. Nobody's forcing you to stay here to watch my stuff if you don't like how I run it. But at the end of the day, I think I've made my point very well clear that I do support the LGBTQ plus community, at least the number of people that I've known I support. I do support, drag shows for kids to a certain extent, depending on the kind of drag show we're talking about. Sexually explicit drag shows, definitely not. But if it's more kid friendly, then yes, I do support that kind of thing. And anybody that if you don't agree with my opinion, you're welcome to your own. It's just I just ask that you respect my opinion as you would want me to respect yours. That's all I've got to say about that. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for me here tonight. I know it's a bit of a short stream, but usually my serious talks are not that long. But yeah. So if you guys have any comments you would like to say in regard to my thoughts and opinion, you may do so. But all I ask is that you be respectful, and I will treat you the same way back. Be disrespectful, and I will delete your comment. You have been warned. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have a good rest of your night. I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is Forrest Walpole signing off.